Hello, this is the LEGO Wizard and welcome to another video. In today's video I'm going to be showing you all of the LEGO motors that are included with the Mindstorms EV3 home unit. So here we have the intelligent brick, and I'm just going to open it up. And when you get it in the box, it does come in this white box, small white box, just to protect it from all the others. Here you can see it. So this brick powers all of the EV3 system. Without it, it wouldn't work. As you can see, it's got a lot of ports at the bottom and top. It has a nice printing on the front, which is hard to put on such a, highly priced brick, because this brick alone would go for a lot of money, at least $60 or $70. This is the main reason you buy EV3. Without this, nothing else would really work. So this brick can turn on. Right now I don't have the batteries in it, so I can't really show you. But this screen turns on and then has this nice little display. The display has been updated since Mindstorms NXT. And as you can see, it now has a bit more of a bigger design. And the ports fit in more nicely. Overall, it just looks a lot better. The buttons have stayed relatively the same, but when you turn it on, the buttons light up from the center, green and red, to determine if the brick is ready or not. And there's just, basic controls: up, down, OK, left, right, and back. So yeah, and that's the EV3 brick. You can just open up the batteries from the back. Let me just get this open for a second. 6 batteries. I made a video on showing which batteries you'll need for that, so you can just watch that. And yeah, so that's the intelligent brick, the most important part. Now let's take a look at each of the motors. Next up, we have the large motors. These are mainly the motors that are used and set to run the vehicle and to power the wheels, but they can be used in whatever use you need. The main way they work is that they plug in at the back with the LEGO wires. They can attach with any of the Technic holes or pins around it, and it just has this one axle here which powers it. So pretty much the only function this has is it spins these 2 red parts around. So yeah, and these are quite powerful. You can't change the speed, unfortunately, but they do work really well. You can go back and forth, and yeah, it works really well for a motor. 2 of these are included in the set. And they don't come in any boxes, and neither do any of the others. So next we're going to take a look at the other motors and what else is in the set. The last motor is this brick that normally powers the action feature of it. As you can see, it just has 1 wire in the back and then 1 axle turntable in the front. It has a lot of technical holes all over it, which makes it really good for having an action feature in the middle of the model. As you can see, it has a nice design going all over it. And yeah, overall, it's just a small thing that only moves at 1 axle in the front. And that's this part. Next, we're going to take a look at the sensors and the more intricate part of the Mindstorms. Okay, so next up we have the main sensor. So this infrared sensor is normally used for the eyes of your creation. You probably saw it before on the Gripper and Everstorm models that I did videos on. This one has a nice color scheme and has 2 of those red eyes, mainly just for show. Otherwise, it's pretty basic. Just has one attachment on the back and just a few Technic holes at the bottom, the sides. And yeah, so this is just mainly the infrared sensor that helps it to determine where it is, how it can move. And yeah, so it's a very important part of making a robot, but to create a machine, you don't really need it. So next up, we'll take a look at the color sensor. The color sensor can determine the color of an object. When you open up Mindstorms, the box, for the first time, it has a protective slipcase it comes in, which can actually be unfolded into a map for Tracker, one of the models, to drive on. This color sensor can tell it which color it is and where it has to turn, when it has to go forward, and when it has to stop. This can be used for programmers who want to make it go in a very specific pattern, and it can be useful in more intricate builds, sort of like the color sorter, the brick sorter, and other models you may have seen on the internet. So very useful piece. It just has this one color sensor on the front and only some technical parts on the top, and then the back wire plug. To finish up the motors and sensors, here is the touch sensor. This sensor overall looks the same as the color sensor, except it has this part on the front, which presses for motion. Can be useful when it's using it for something such as the Mind Cuber, like the turning one. You can use that to match the color, then turn it, make sure it's all in place. And such a sensor can be used for other intricate things like that. It's very useful in models, and yeah, so that's a touch sensor. Finally is the remote. The remote can control the Mindstorms model without having to use a Commander app or a USB plug. There's only basic movements when you use this motor, this controller, but it still works quite well. As you can see, it has one button at the top. It has two left and right, which can be used to control a car going forward. It has the front wheels in the back. You can use this to go forward for left wheel forward, right wheel forward, left wheel back, right wheel back. And then there's just a switch which determines whether it's going to the motors, it's going to the action feature, or the gearbox, which was this one. And then the final one can just be for another use if you're using it for your own creation. Otherwise, it just has a small infrared plug on the top, and in the Everstore model, it was attached to a small little assembly. I don't think that's done for any of the other models, but it's still a nice little feature to have in for anybody who doesn't want to use a USB plug or doesn't have access to the iPads. The only other thing is the wires, which don't really count, but they just attach to the different wire plugs to different sections. There are two versions. This is a short, and there's also a bit of a longer one. So this is all of the motors that are included in the LEGO Mindstorms EV3 Home Edition. As you can see, there's a lot of really cool pieces here, and LEGO have made sure they've this time designed them so that people can use them in their own creations. I've seen some really awesome things done with these motors, like making a giant scale chess set using the Mindstorms, making a packaging machine that could package up mini Lego poly bags and other amazing things. In my liked videos playlist, I've liked 2 videos that have used some of those cool techniques, such as a brick sorter and the Mind Cuber. But yeah, so these are all the motors from the LEGO Mindstorms EV3. If you like this video, make sure you stay tuned for more Mindstorms EV3 videos, and I'll hopefully have a new video of a new model up soon. So this is the LEGO Wizard. Have a nice day.